Alright, what is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, go back here, guys. 231 across the DFS industry. Here to break down Wednesday's 4-game EPL slate. We're going to just jump right into it. Quick reminder, like, subscribe, and comment to the videos. And if you're interested in more content and just more help from us at FSI, myself and Tendril Storm, click the link to subscribe to the chat. We go over core plays for every single slate. All the set takers, pretty much what you need to know to be successful, we think. And a lot of subscribers would agree too. So, anyhow, we love to see you in the chat. Let's just get right into it. First game, Nottingham Forest at Southampton. Massive game. It's going to have a lot of set implications on things moving forward. Either team that gets 3 points here has a huge edge of the other because they're going to be in the relegation battle all season. So, first play out of this, and Southampton's plus 115. James Ward-Prowse, I think it's the best play on the slate. Every set piece, free kick goal last week, PKs. He's everything we want on a DFS play, and he's fine price at 9,000, like easy to fit. So I think in any format, James Ward-Prowse is your first click, and you just kind of move on from there. The only other cash consideration I really have from Southampton is El Yanasi, 4,200. Just super active. Draws fouls, takes shots. Used to be a set piece taker. I'm not going to take anything with Ward-Prowse on, but really solid. I think the fullbacks are fine if they're cheap enough and they fit. Like, I'm not going on my way from them, but they're a class man in. Defender after Lucas Dean doesn't really have that much on the slate. So again, fine space for. I do like Che Adams a lot in GPP. I think Forrest is very leaky on the road. Forrest is just leaky in general. So Che Adams been a really good goal scoring for him. I just think he's a super talented guy, so I like Jay Adams. And whoever starts beside him, I think, would be okay too. Normally they do 2-striker system. I think they're starting the young kid again now too. So, I could see Southampton being a pretty good GPP look. Maybe scoring 2 goals. I think it's like a 2-1 type of game. So there could be some value there. For Forest, Morgan Gibbs-White, Monopoly set pieces. And I say Monopoly, like I'm always worried when Lodi's on the field that he's going to lose some to Lodi, but it's been Gibbs-White, 8,400 forward eligible. I think forward's tough. Gibbs-White is definitely the short list. It's Son and Bowen as like your cash forwards. So however you see that shaking up. But Gibbs-White has shown a good floor all season. I would love him if it was a little bit cheaper. I think that would just make me happier, but we can't always get what we want. But Gibbs-White would be the best play in Forest for cash. Fullbacks are a little more active than the Southampton fullbacks. Aurier, who scored a goal last week, and Lodi. And then, I do think, because I do see there being likely a goal here, I do think if you go someone like Brennan Johnson, has been really active lately, or the former Liverpool guy who was Ayuwami, kept butchering his name, bad. But I think those are fine. But nobody else, like the midfield guys, nobody in there that I want, anything like that. Second game, West Ham at Leeds. Leeds is plus 160. Leeds has one of the most important players on the site to me, which is Jack Harrison. He's super cheap, 5,200. Super active. I don't think he's going to play 90, but if he's back in March's rotation, like to me, he's the lock and load. He's a guy that we were paying upwards of 8,000 for last season. So to get him at such a deep discount at home, just give all of it to me. He's not in. It should boost Aronson, although the sets get pretty murky after that. Like, Harrison's like the one guy when he's on the field that we know. The other guy that takes a lot is Greenwood, which would be great at forward, 6,200 for a favored set taker. He goes from like being in the lineup to, getting assists, getting goals versus City, and then not checking in. I don't know what the deal is there, but that's a guy to look out for. Every once in a while we've seen like Roca take a corner. I would just say that if Harrison isn't in, all of a sudden I'm just taking all the Leeds pieces down a little bit and just signaling them more as GPP plays. The roles get just a little murky for me. I do think they're fine for GPP though. We've seen West Ham struggle all season, so you want to go Rodrigo. Excuse me. Gianotto, somebody like that. That's probably not going to be high owned. I think that works as well. Fullbacks don't really cross all that much. So, Leeds to me is more GPP here. West Ham has one of the better cash plays on the site. Jared Bowen, split sets, forward eligible. He just attacks guys on, and just, always seems to be in that 8 to 10 range. And then if you get a goal or assist, you're in double digits. So that's the type of player we like. So I think he's very, very shortlisted for cash. If in at left wing back, Emerson is really nice at 3,700. I don't think I'm going to be on the Cresswell train unless, we saw no left-sided fullback, right? Like nobody that could play left wing back. Then maybe you could go ahead and say he's going to be at left back and he's going to have a share of sets. And if my build gets on him, that's great. If not, he's like not the type of fullback that necessarily scares me. Because I just don't see this is like famous last words. Like you should lock him in, but I don't see huge upside on him where I'm scared. Like I have to get him in my lineup versus like a Lucas Dean we'll talk about in a minute. You go, okay, set pieces, open play, everything we want in a fullback. Lucas Dean when he's getting set pieces, which he did last week. So, Antonio GPP, like any of the West Ham GPP goal scoring pieces are worthwhile. Actually, one more guy to note, I saw him way down the dumpster dim, and I do see him on a prelim lineup, but it's Pablo Fornals, 3,500. That's about the cheapest we'll ever see him. A lot of talent. Just like a lot of these West Ham guys. Just it's almost, it feels like they're miscast. But 3,500 for him is really cheap. Decent shot at some set pieces, so that'll work. Wolves versus, can't read my writing, Aston Villa. I have like ALL. I'm like, what the hell is ALL? On for Villa, I've already mentioned him a couple times. Lucas Dean took a few corners versus Spurs last week. He's back on corners, 5,900 with his open play value. He's a lock and load to me. Especially on a set where the defenders aren't great. So I do like Lucas Dean. After that, Villa is always tough. Leon Bailey, I guess, should be in cash consideration for. He should take some set pieces as well. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game if the Lucas Dean corners were after Bailey checked out. I did see, though, Douglas Luiz didn't take any. It was just Bailey and Lucas Dean. Again, like Lucas Dean, what's nice about him is if he all of a sudden he doesn't get set pieces, you still have a lot of open play value, so you're definitely not dead. I think Buendia I don't think he's a cash play because he's not getting sets, but I think in GPP, that's a really, really nice spot for a talented player. Not going to have much ownership because he's not getting sets anymore, but still very active, seems to be thriving and back in the lineup, back under Emery. So I like that play. Trying to think if there's anybody else I really want to mention. Like Douglas Luiz, if in is fine, but I have no interest in Douglas Luiz in the center of the park if he doesn't have set pieces. He's a good player. He scored a goal last game, but I just this wouldn't be my type of play. Only if he has sets, and I just think there's enough murkiness, so I would just kind of stay away. Ollie Watkins, whoever else starts up top, certainly in play. Then I do think that, if back in goal, Emi Martinez would be a little bit popular there. I just think it's worth noting. For Wolves, not a lot that I love on Wolves. But again, from a worth noting standpoint, Podence has been taking set pieces. He's forward eligible. I think there's been enough forward eligible forward pieces that I don't need to go him as a dog away. But, we should make note of it. Cunha is projected to start. Cunha, like way back when the Bundesliga used to take sets, it would be totally Wolves type of style to give even more murkiness to a bad set situation. So don't be surprised if that happens. Just trying to think what else. Hugo Bueno has been taking some sets too. He's 5,200 away from home. If it was a home game, I'd probably consider him more away from home, just with the fact that Wolves sets just make me so damn nervous, because at any point João Matinho is going to run over the corner. We've seen Podence do it. We've seen Matheus Nunes take some during the season. We've seen Hugo Bueno. Now Cunha could even take some. Like it's just like a scary situation for me. It's kind of like Leicester yesterday. We had the data from one last game that a Ayoze Perez would take, but Yuri Tielemans wasn't in. Yuri Tielemans in the past has taken over Ayoze Perez, so you go, okay, Yuri's going to take, and it's all Ayoze. And now Yuri Tielemans was fine, right? He was double digits, floor. It was great. But if all of a sudden we know for sure that Ayoze Perez is going to take one out by set pieces, he's a lock and load. Forward eligible, 5,200 or whatever the hell he was. And he's only 7% because you look at the historical track record, that's like, so what's, and he shouldn't have set pieces. That's just what's always just so nerve-wracking to me. The more and more set piece takers you take, like people ask me, well, why don't you think this guy's taking them? Like, I know what the data says, and I know what just happened, but I also know like the profile of the players that are on the pitch with the guy, and they could just change it up. Like we don't like, as DFS players, we don't like have like a good sense of like, all right, here was what the formation was supposed to be for the corner, and here was where the ball was supposed to be delivered, and here's where it was. And the coach is like, I'm just tired of this. I want somebody else to try the corners, or, wasn't enough pace, or wasn't enough loft, whatever. So I just I like set situations where we know what's going to happen. That just makes me happier. All right, that's enough from that game. Final game, Spurs going to Palace. I'm going to start out by saying Spurs, just consistent disappointment. It's like one of two things here, right? They're either reacting huge, right? Like typical Spurs, as soon as you count them out, all of a sudden they come in here, win like 3-0, look like the best team in the world. Or they're just completely out, like that Conte's lost them, which it doesn't seem likely, but that they're just in complete flux. So I don't know the answer. If I had to determine between the two, especially with Kane and Son having a lot of wear on them with that extra World Cup run where everybody else is a lot more fresh, I'd probably lean towards, this being a tough game for Spurs. Like, Palace is a good team. Going to Selhurst at night is a really, really tough thing to do. So that's my lean. I think Iato will be pretty popular as a goalkeeper as a result. It's funny, despite liking Crystal Palace, I don't really love any of the pieces. Olise looks really good, but he split sets with Eze. Olise would be my choice over there because, again, I'm taking Eze only because of the forward eligibility, and there's so many forwards that I don't really think that we need to. But Olise would probably be my favorite Palace play, and then Zaha kind of feels overdue for a goal. This just feels like a good Zaha goal game, so I like him for GPP. Nobody else really in consideration from Palace for me. For Spurs, I do think that Son is probably the top forward on the slate. Despite if you don't like Spurs or not, they do have just outright more talent on the pitch. And if they give away a goal early, that just unleashes Son to have nuclear type of floor game, gives you the goal upside, all that good stuff. Kane will always carry ownership. He's gonna still he has a little bit of a floor, right? We do know that, but I don't think it's enough of a floor to justify him versus some set piece takers that also give you the same type of goal upside. So maybe not the same type of goal upside, that's the wrong way to say it, but that you need a goal from anyway. So anyhow, Son over Kane for me. But if you like Spurs and you think they do rally, GPP, Son and Kane together, one of the easiest stacks in DFS. So you just go from there. Kulusevski, I think, is back. That'll be huge. Brian Gill is not ready for the Premier League. I don't know if he'll ever be ready for the Premier League. So he was a huge drop-off by them having him in the lineup. So, yeah, I would stay away from him if he's in. And I would actually just downgrade the Spurs in general if they have to play Brian Gill in that formation. It just doesn't work for them. So, yeah, I think that covers the slate. So just based off of things, I would go Son and Ward-Prowse for your first two in, and then probably Lucas Dean. Move from there. Obviously going to be tons of rotation because of all the fixture congestion. So let's hope for some shakeups and some fun going on. Thank you guys for watching. That was it.